G'day and welcome to this first video on the XC in such a long time. I'm a bit stuffed up, sorry about that. So in this one it's a bit of talking, but mainly reacquainting ourselves with the car. There's a lot of bits and pieces I've put away and I couldn't remember what they were. We started this car 9 years ago and it should have been done 7 years ago, but it's not. So a lot of stuff to do, but then not that much to get it over the line, if that makes any sense. So with that being said, I hope you enjoy.
So I'm still sort of mocking stuff up. This is an old Thompson pump. It's not age appropriate for this engine because these are on X. I don't know about XYs, but XAs and Bs use them. XCs use them, and XDs use the later Thompson. XDs and Es had the plastic body Thompson. This is going on the XC. I've got 3 of those. I bought this from Graham with the steering box for the XA, and a lovely fella called Addison donated a couple of them. One's got a dipstick and I need to find it. It's in a box in the shed. And I want to work out, because there's 2 different XD belts I've got a 1275 and a 1310, I think. 1320. So this one is an old Daco that was on the Falcon, on the XD. And that looks like a good fit-ish. Yes, that's the right one for that. This one's what's stipulated for the alternator. That's the same as what I got on the XC, but on this, because of this bracket, I'm assuming, or the pulley size, doesn't quite fit properly. You got to wind it on, if you know what I mean. So I'm just getting in the sort of headspace of being able to, get the right stuff. This needs a spacer behind it. I can machine one of those. That's what I did on the XC. You can never normally find the original ones. This thing was filthy. Just turned that big fan on and it just blew off. Look at it. It looks reasonably clean now. Didn't work on those 2 cars. But should be right. Right, so let's have a look. I think the first thing we'll do is drop the radiator. This was never correct. I could have put the cap on properly. I think they're for a wider radiator. Either that or I've got it. I can't even go any closer there. I don't know what the story with that is. So I'm going to pull this out. I've got to drain it first. And should all be good. I can't find. So Addison donated 2 Thompson pumps. That one feels, I want to have a look at Addison's, and they're in a box in the shed. And I've got to unload some stuff and I haven't got much time today. So I'm not going to do the steering pump today. I'd like to with a radiator out there. It's probably easier. Not that it make much difference really. But, well, yeah, a little bit. But, yeah, so I'm just going to pull the radiator out. I want to put that new one in so I can mow the lawn. So I've got it sitting outside. Nice and ready. Doesn't fit it on properly either. All I do is scratch up my beautiful radiator support panel paint. These radiators are copper ones from XFs, and the 302s used them as well, which is a good thing about putting a 302 in something. You can use some 6-cylinder stuff, but this won't be enough for. I don't think it'll be enough for this engine. Damn. Yeah, I've got to get that hose off. It's got that green from the Starlet when I painted that. Come back. Got one of these tools from Nick. He heard me mention that I had a snap-on 1 years ago and I lost it. Oh, come on. This isn't going to be easy. It should be because the car's not done any miles, but they're sort of stuck a bit. Nice clean coolant. I don't want it to go all over the place. Thing about a manual car, because you don't have stupid auto cooler lines. This is the one that I got. I think I got it for free. Let's have a look. I ended up soldering it, I think. Where is it? I'll take that shroud out as well. We'll give it a nice clean up. It's all dusty and Doesn't look as nice as it used to. Oh, gee, I'm just trying to give this thing a bit of a clean up. It's been a long time. I'm one of these sad cases who I used to do cars up or at least buy cars and then get fed up with them and sell them. Then of course you miss them, you know. And so my thing is that I can never afford, I can never afford cars like this with what people ask for them. They ask too much money, and so I have to build them out of rubbish. Which is why most of my stuff isn't matching numbers and all this sort of crap. I don't care much for that. It's important if you've got a GT or a, you know, GTS Monaro or something like that. But for me, with what I drive around and what I own, it doesn't matter at all. In fact, it's... Damn, there's more coolant coming out. It's much more beneficial not to, because I can build the cars according to how I want them. This is a 351. Now, in standard form, they're not that good. Early ones are still very sprightly, but these ones aren't. You do get good ones from time to time, but there is a lot of variation. The quality control wasn't there between models like you see now, where everything's sort of put together very precisely. Back then, it sort of wasn't. So I've given this engine a few strong coffees to wake it up a bit, and I think it's going to be pretty good. But yeah, I have to, if I want to keep more than one car, I can sell everything and buy a GT or whatever, but I wouldn't, because that means I have to get rid of everything. And I know this car inside out, literally. Like, I've had so much steel cut out of it, and I've welded it back in, and that's why I sort of get attached to them, because you put them together. I don't like calling them a build, because Ford built it. But then I rebuilt it with bits and pieces from other cars, and it looks nice and stock. It doesn't look original because it's not original colour, and the trim's not original. But I can't buy another car like this to this specification that's brand new, you know. And for the most part, it is literally brand new. The car came from Witcherproof, which is in country Victoria, and it's a very dry sort of environment up there, so rust wasn't an issue. Which my brother had one of these when in 1979, he got his license in 1979, and his first car was a Fairmont GXL 302 one, and it had rust in the doors. It was 3 years old. It was a 76 model. And you think, gee, today, if you had a car with rust in it at 3 years old, you would be, you know, furious. So it's nice to get back into this. I was watching a channel. I'll have to put in the description or something, where they got a 302, a red one, and had all sorts of problems with the fuel. These two young blokes, and I thought, I'd hear, mate, you know, pain in the neck it was for them. But they did it for their boss. I don't know who their boss was, but he got a lot of labour out of them, poor fellas. So I've given this a wipe. It's looking pretty good. I'll show you what I'm talking about with this radiator. It's Nathan Hickey's old. I'll go get it. Frustrating when you're doing it like I'm doing it. You end up with I think, a nicer product. I honestly think this is a nicer car than 99% of other XCs that people ask a huge amount of money for. But I don't know. I did it to my spec. The problem with it is you have to wait a long time to get the bits you need. It took me ages to get around to putting these in, you know, and the motor I had, I bought the motor for $200. I'm going to buff that bonnet out again. The motor I paid $200 for, but it turns out the crank was cracked. There's a bunch of 1977 cranks that had annular cracks in them. So this ended up having a 4MA crank, an American one, put in. Radiator speaker, I'm going to drop this. That's the one I've just pulled out. That's the one we're putting in. So it's got an extra core in it. Most of the cooling is going to be the width of it, the surface area. This is the one Nathan sold me, and I've just given it a quick blow over. And that's the one we're using in the XC. Now, a couple of things with these. they're just starting to show up quite a lot on Marketplace and places like that. Really reasonable price. They're copper, so I think they're better than aluminium, particularly if you like the OE look like me. A lot of people are sort of trading these for alloy ones. A lot of those alloy ones are sort of maybe a little bit questionable in quality, but a lot of them look the part and they've got inbuilt fans and all sorts of stuff. And so these are turning up on Marketplace for like 150 bucks. Probably more than likely twin core ones, but some of them are triples as well. The drains and power steering all over the oil filter. I'm actually collecting it in a cup. I don't know how successfully I'm doing it. I think some of it's escaping, but it doesn't matter. So I'll just put a little bung or something over that, and oh shoot, now it's leaking all over the floor. And yeah, just a moment, I'm going to stop that. I hope this doesn't growl too much, although it's bound to when we first put it in. I just think a Thompson always looks better in an XC. That's what they came with, you know. And I made, because I always have trouble finding these spaces, and I made that. I'll give it a clean up. Hang on a second. We used to have this Subject Tech metal, and the kids would make hammers, a soft hammer, like aluminium one side, copper the other, or whatever the metal was. And these were loads and loads of ends of these hammers, and they just get thrown out because the kids, when they do the spigot for the thread on it, get the size of the spigot too wrong, or incorrect, sorry. And so you can't thread them, so they chuck it down, they get a new piece. And these are the bits that I used to use for spaces and all these sorts of things, because they just go to scrap, you know. There we go, and then go back into the head, there. Sweet, and then we can... The later plastic body Thompsons have a sticker on them, don't pry on the reservoir. These don't, but I've seen one of the other ones has got a dent in there where someone's put a screwdriver or a piece of wood in. They have a emboss in there, a sort of embossed part of the casting behind the pulley. You can get a spanner on it. I'll show you what size in a second. It's either half or 9/16, I think it's ½ inch. And we can just nip that bottom one up. And we're good. 9/16, sorry. Perfect. And now we can just tighten the rest up and connect the hoses and we're out of there. But hopefully, I'm just worried. It's going to growl, but I'm just worried about how badly. And I've got to change the low pressure line too and turn that around. The sort of trajectory of the exit or the low pressure spigot is a bit different. That's good as gold. Yep, stepping on everything. Whoopsie. Down you go. That goes there. Hold that for now. The only other thing I want to do with this is change out that carburetor vacuum motor at the back, which I know was problematic. And then we'll start it, start it and move it. Let's let that settle a bit. And go from there. I've been meaning to revisit this for a long time because the thermoquad's all right, but it's not great. I've got to set it up yet. I haven't done that. Sorry about that. Okay, let's have a look at this thing. That dash pot there, actually I disconnected it. Why did I disconnect it? Probably because it was all rusty and I didn't want to draw any crap in there, but anyway, I'm going to take that off. I'm not even sure it works.
sort of.
Hopefully you can see. Just this little thing here that's at the back. We'll take this down. One of the carby studs off, or nuts, securing nuts. Look, they're probably still functional, but I didn't like all that corrosion. So I'm going to stick this on. And hopefully, oops, come here, linkage. Where'd that go? That went in there, and then came through here, didn't it? Sort of like that. Yeah, it did. Alright. Sort of in business. I might just go and get some finer pliers just for that bit, because I've got visions of myself dropping it. Just a minute. Right, so I've got to do a couple of irritating jobs with this. I want to put a boot release in, which means popping out that seat again. Just to make access easier, to drill a couple of holes and so forth. We're also going to take this out, this cluster. It's a pain, I've had it out a few times. But I now want to, can I do that? I want to, damn, I need a socket. Replace the temperature gauge with a new one with a new regulator in it. Harvey told me it's not a matter of if they go, it's when. And if they go, they can fry up instruments. So he's got this new one to put in. Or he's given it to me a couple of years ago now. So I'll pop this wheel off, and then I'll start taking the cluster out, replace the gauge, put the wheel back on. And then we can put Liam's beautiful centre on it. I'm just going to make sure I've got that lined up properly. I don't know if I have. I've got the wrong glasses on. Just a minute. Please excuse my terribly messy bench. Doing a car up's more about attitude, I reckon. Because I decided a long time ago that I wasn't enjoying doing this car. And so I was a little bit half-assed about it. And I just found out 4 of these dash lights, they've got new globes in them, but I didn't actually check them. And I've just been sort of playing around with the, yeah, there you go, that works. So I've just been playing around with the pinouts before I take that, what do you call it? Temperature gauge out. Right, so now I've got them right now. So I've lost my little 12 volt lead acid battery that I used for testing. Okay, so what I've got to do, whoopsie, is take it out. And then I'll retest those lights. There's actually 3 pickups where they operate from. So I guess to start with, we'll take this whole fascia off. And we'll pop this new one on in here. Can you see what I'm doing? No, I'm at the bottom of the screen. Hang on a minute. What if I just go like that? That might make it easier. And then you can see my gut. Haha. Someone actually complained about my gut. Well, they didn't complain about it, but they just said I'm too fat. And they're kind of right. I mean, I haven't seen him. He was probably fatter. Okay. And this isn't the ideal environment to be working on instruments, but I just figured, well, it's a palaver to get the dash out. It's a pain in the neck, actually. It's got a blue sealer on it. Here. And there goes the dog. And I figured I'd do it now before I put the steering wheel back on and all this. I've been meaning to do it for donkeys. Okay, now the temperature gauge is that bloke. So let me have a look at the other one. And I might have to set up a towel and all this sort of other stuff. Okay, I think this is the XC one. He gave me an XD one too. Oh, here we go. That looks like a temperature gauge. Alright, so these little hoods come off. Ooh. Those little things come off the threads. Perfect. And we just unscrew it and swap it over. I want to be able to see. This one's got modified electronics in it. So he changed the reg out. Which I would think is that thing there. This regulates the whole dash. Sweet. There's just a little 3/8 sort of pressed nut, if you know what I mean. Oops, come off. Yeah, just like one of those guys. And we'll just go around and take them off and pull this gauge. I want to have a look at it to see what the difference is. I think Harvey prepared it. But this one's got a solid brass nut, the centre one. No idea why. So that's that. Oops. Oh, don't. Oh, yeah, good. I was going to say I didn't want to have to take anything else out. Oh, this is different. So, he's got a black box of goodness there. That's different, isn't it? He might want that back. I don't know. I haven't spoken to him about it. But this is sort of a more reliable electronics and so on and so forth. So now all we have to do, I'll pack this up neatly because Harvey might want that back, and therefore I can send it. He gave me another one for the XD too, but the XD is totally different mechanism and electronics and everything, I think. But that's cool. Thank you, Harvey. I'll just put this back together and I'll retest those lights and we're golden. I didn't realise there was so much I hadn't done on this vehicle. I'm using earlier type snip buttons. I think they look nicer. I've still got to fix that electric window thing. And I still haven't got a clip on the brake pedal, on the lever. The other thing I hadn't done, well, I've broken it. Let's come out. I've broken the thing that goes in there. Is put that door seal on. There's one that's missing off the back door as well, which I didn't put on. Oh, goes on and on, doesn't it? So, anyway, got the dash back in. That's all good. What else was I going to do? Oh, I've got to take the seat out. I want to put that remote boot release. They normally fit under the... These things normally fit under the carpet. Where it's crimped there, on the XW, I broke it. Like just in the amount of sort of leverage in pulling the boot up. You know, it sort of pulled the cable straight out. It's ended up modifying it. But I've got to pop the seat out and stick that there. It comes with this. It's a slightly different kit. The one in the XD, I've got these in all the Falcons. And I'll put one in the Fairlane as well as the XA. So, I don't know. I don't even care if it's exposed like that. It doesn't bother me at all. Just run the cable under the carpet. But it means I've got to pop that seat out, or at least loosen it and tilt it back just so I can drill a hole in the carpet. But anyway, I'll get into that shortly. Just stupid stuff, really. I can have a look at that console thanks to Graham and the part that he donated. There's the other light up there. Looks good, doesn't it? I like this car. I'm starting to fall in love with it again. I hated it for such a long time. Right, well, I didn't film this. I've got a boot full of junk here. I've just threaded that through, the remote boot release. I was having trouble with the key. It's right over the end, and I couldn't get the boot open at one point. I had to remove the back seat. And I'm hitting the thing on it. It's closing, but I'm leaving it proud for now until the seal settles. I've just got to put this that little horseshoe thing there. Can't remember what I've done with it. And clean all this out. It needs to be cleaned off. So I'm just going to look for that. I think it was over here. That's the right oil pressure sender I've got to put on. I'm pretty sure it's the right one. Harvey gave me the resistances. That's the kit I was looking for. Damn. That's the blasted kit I was looking for. I looked everywhere for it, I couldn't find it. This is the problem with being me. I don't put things in the same spot. That's for the handbrake, I'm going to put that in a moment. Oh, I fit these locks, so I've done one that sits too high. So that I want the old XWXY type. I think they look nice. Oops. And they're supposed to be black. I've got a set of door handles. I've been sort of collecting them. So that's a good one. They can be painted black and put on the car. These are genuine Ford ones. The rest spare ones are terrible. And I've got to sort this stupid switch out. That's the thing I'm worried about because I've had trouble with it. Right, so I think I'm going to pull the pin tonight. I've done some good work tonight. And it's just getting closer and closer. So it's a good old car. I'm still going to change carburetor out. I'll do it next video. And I might have to take a look at, how's this clutch fluid go? So I haven't looked at this car for ages. Hang on, here we go. But just safety things like that pin here, that's fine. In the brake push rod, that's just ridiculous. That shouldn't have left it like that. So yeah, I'm happy with that. So I'll finish off rubbing that out. I've got to do a little bit of filling here and here. What do you reckon of that for the XA? I think that looks grouse. I'll show you what I did with this, but there's another video with bits and pieces on that. And that air cleaner that I've made out of, you know, where is it? Multiple other air cleaners. So I've got to bodywork it and paint it. And where's the other bit that I had? I'm going to show it to you. Oh, here. So this is off the Fairlane. What do you reckon? Some of the American air cleaners look slightly different to ours. So I've actually cut the bottom out to make it flow better. And I've taken some of the angle out too, so I might just hammer and dolly that out. And put it on there. I've also made this sort of stand for the guards. And I can put a right or a left on here. Just to finish out this bodywork. Because I don't enjoy bodywork. And that guard there's pretty cool. This one, I'm not sure that line's right. We're high there, but it feels a bit sharp. I don't think he's finished doing that. So I've got to finish that and paint it. Now, I've got to fill that a bit. So I'm trying to organise all the bodywork to do at the one time. So I've got to fill those two bits. There's a bit up here, but that'll get covered by the windscreen mould. I'm not going to bother with that. Graham did the rest of it beautifully. So I've got to fill those and the air cleaner, that sort of cut and shut air cleaner, and I'll do that all at the same time. And I'm also going to strip Daniel's door for the Fairlane, and I've got the other one as well. Mind the junk. There. So I'm replacing both front doors. I know one side of the car was painted, but you know, I don't know, a nice mint door like that, inside and out, is better than one that's been sort of cut up and welded up together. I've got to do the weeds. Sorry about this. The garden looks nice, but the weeds look crap. Got to send those three off to be hydroblasted too. And yeah, just sort of organising myself. But mainly organising myself to start getting bulk of bodywork done. Because this has to be painted. These two guards must be painted. And then the XC is just chicken feed putting it together, really. If I can get it roadworthy before the winter, I always like to have all the paint and everything done by April. There's two different types of handbrake lever on these. There's a single hole, which that has to feed into. And there's another hole with a backing part onto it that holds that one in. That's the cable that's nice and free, and I sort of did a tentative cleanup. This one still has a seized bit in it. Now, that standard L-shaped one is designed for this, where you slot it in and rotate it, and that part there will hold it in. The ones I've got on the XC, this one
which has, it's a single hole there, so that's going to be suitable. There it is there. That's going to be suitable for the one with the dog leg in it. It's likely to be a different model thing, like XD's had one and whatever, XC's had the other. I did length try that one with the dog leg and it fitted in this car. Now I don't want to go taking those out, they're a pain. But only because they got that spring on the back. Just there. And that can be a pain to wind on. On the bench it's alright if you've got a vice, but under the car is going to be a pain in the neck. So, I don't know. I'll have a look and see if the other one's free. And see if I can chuck that in. But last time I checked it was stuck in one position. Right. XC Mouldings. Now these were given to me by Graham Newbury. This guy is just so generous. He's like Jason. He just keeps giving things away. It's got a few problems. A few dents. It's beyond my ability to get that perfect. So I might send those out. I didn't even have any drip rail mouldings I could use before. But that's going to be a send out job, I think. Scott, my good friend from Canada, he could fix that with his ice shut, but he's got more patience and more skill than I have. So I'll send those away. I actually have never sent anything away, even the ones on the XW. There was a mark on one of these. Yeah, these aren't great there. Or there. I never bothered. But I think that set is probably a little bit too rough. That being said, it's a great core set where we can get some stuff done. The oil sending unit, the car has the wrong one. That is, they go between, 73 to 10 ohms, depending on the pressure. That's the range. This one's sitting right on 72.7. So we're going to stick that in. For the oil pressure gauge didn't work before, thanks to Harvey. He told me, and I had the wrong one in the XD as well. And that now has a great oil pressure gauge. So I don't think the XC oil pressure gauge is as quick to react. I'm just going to find a spanner so I can get the other one out and stick that in. Here I am behind the engine again, taking that thing out. It's different. I don't think it's a genuine Ford one. I'm not sure. I think they use VDO. So I'll just pull it out. Disappointing to see the surface rust, a little bit of it on the bell housing. And, you know, I'd had a nice paint job before. Damn. Am I undoing it? Yeah, I'm undoing it. Let's look at that. No, it's got a nut. Hang on a second. I'll have to take that adapter out. Right, so this is the correct one, that silver one. Can you see this? 73.5, 72.9, so it's 73 ohms. This one has a different sort of terminal. They're a good idea to keep those because these are coils and all sorts of things, so you just chuck them in your toolbox. I've got an eyelet. I've got an eyelet for that on this one. What's the resistance on this guy? 250 ohms. What's an XD? Is that 250 ohms? I've got to check and I'll stick a message there because off the top of my head I don't know. Harvey will know that straight away. But if that's good for an XD, that'll fit in the ZJ. And I'll put it on that car, which is perfect. So I hope you enjoyed that. Some of those bits of footage I've had for probably a few weeks. And I was kind of wading through them and trying to weed out what was relevant to the XC to what was in the general news video that I did last time. I don't know. So the next one's going to be on the bodywork, on the guards. I might have another general news one before that. I don't know. We'll just see where the mood takes. Anyway, thanks very much for watching and take good care of yourselves and your classics, and I'll see you soon.